You had a run in WWE as well. And I think this is really fascinating because here's a gimmick, a character that uh, was really unique. Kizarny, the makeup, the costume. I was watching some of those vignettes earlier. Really well done, put together. Who came up with the idea for that gimmick?
So visually, that was all me. Like I literally just walked around like that. Like that's what I look like in or out of character. Like that was me. Like I was. That's how you'd see me in the wrestling ring. That's how you'd see me in the gym. That's how you see me in the Waffle House. That's it in the grocery store. That's what I look like. Um, I was wrestling as Sinn Bodhi at the time. Vince McMahon's idea was uh, he asked me like what I did, what I liked, and all that kind of stuff. And instead of saying freak show or sideshow, what I would usually say, I just knew wrestling started in the carnival, and I knew he liked that stuff, so I just used that verbiage and I said, carnival wrestler and carnival strongman, all that stuff. So he was like, "Oh, really? That's interesting." We started talking, and the next day, so this was like at an Unforgiven somewhere. I can't even tell you what city it was in. Everything's a blur. Um, sorry, my eyes are dry. I was outside feeding my goats, and it's like kind of a dust storm out here in Death Valley, and I was getting all the
Oh
dust in
wow.
my eyes. So, yeah. But anyway,
Okay.
so Vince comes up to me. He goes, "Yeah, I really like the carnival idea." He goes, "I want you to be Kizarny. It's Carney for Carney. You get it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I get it." So he came up with a name and he asked me if I could speak Carney, and I said, "Yes, is I Kizan." And he said, "All right, good. I want you to speak Carney." So I was fine with it. I was still like, I was kind of like, I wasn't sure if this was a good idea or not, but I was just happy that he was thinking of me at all. I'm like, sure, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Happy to be here. And the only part that it really like I didn't like, but again, I never even thought to say that I didn't like something or even like as respectfully as I could. I just was just like again, I was taught by Hutchinson, be a good soldier, do what you're told, just do it as best you can. Um, so they flew me to like a carnival, like a fair, where I met with Ward Hall and Chris Christ, who run the World of Wonders, and I'm still friends with Chris to this day. Ward Hall, rest in peace. Um, but Vince's direction was just film whatever you do, just film all sorts of crazy stuff. We'll get it, we'll sort it out in production and in post. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I just did a bunch of my stuff there, and the thing that I just didn't like was so Vince was dead set on me being a good guy. So I'm like, okay, all right. At that stage of the game, like now I'm a good guy. Weirdly, as creepy and as out of the box as I am now, I'm 9 out of 10 times I'm a good guy on shows. But then I would 9 out of 10 times I was a bad guy. So I was like, yes, sir, I'll be a good guy. Okay, that's what you want. He's the guy signing the checks. All right, yes, sir. As I'm saying my promo stuff, and Vince wanted me to talk in that Carney, gibberish and all that. I'm like, okay. But the director kept on saying, you're too scary. Like, can you heighten your kind of your tone, your octaves or whatever? Don't be so raspy or don't be so like deep, whatever. I go, okay. So I try and do this higher and higher and higher. He's like, no, higher. You still sound scary. Yeah, more. You still sound scary. So next thing you know, I sound like, I swear I sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. So now I'm like, hi, I'm Kizarny. So when I hear my voice, it just makes me like, just like, I just sound like a dork as far as I'm concerned. There's like nothing cool or good guy or bad guy or anything about it. I sound like this dork. Like I look weird enough and look whatever, but just I sound odd. And then so on top of that, then after Vince looks through all the footage, he's like, "This is crazy. I can't show anything. You're going to scare the crap out of the kids." Like I'm like, "Well, you asked me to do what I do, so I did what I do." And so they ended up using a lot of like the B-roll from some of like the sort of less scary, less intense, not intense, but like less like creepy or scary, whatever you want to say. Like just some of the more the performers that were more like maybe the kids would enjoy kind of a thing because this where we're entering into a very uber PG time in
Yeah.
WWE. I
Hmm.
think my time, I think my time, like my physical timeline there was not in my favor because like the Attitude Era could have got away with a lot. Now I could even get away with a lot, but then it was just like you couldn't do just about anything. It was like super duper PG, almost G. Like it was almost like how it was, um, like kind of right before the Attitude Era when it was just a lot of like really silly, like shticky gimmicks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it was just kind of a slippery slope for me. Um, and I'm not complaining. It was what it was. And I'm a big boy. I'll make my bed and sleep in it. But I tried to have fun with it. I tried to do everything that I was supposed to do, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, you wrestled MVP during that run.
I am technically undefeated on SmackDown, so there you go.
Yeah, that's a pretty good accolade.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, what were there plans to utilize you more on television? What was the direction of the character? Do you remember?
yeah. I think Vince was really happy with me. I was his new shiny toy for a while, and then, kind of like a weird, kind of like dating somebody and it doesn't work out, and you just don't know why, and you never ever get any closure. Like to this day, I have no idea why. They just got a phone call one day saying, "Yep, see ya." Like that was it. Like I just had John Laurinaitis just call me out of the blue and just was just like, "Got nothing for you, kid. Sorry. See you later." Click, and that was it. Like I had no explanation to this day. And then weirdly, like I've been back there plenty of times, like at PC, like coaching, like they've hired me to like guest coach a bunch down there. And so me and a couple of the coaches would joke, like some of the guys that had never set foot in a WWE ring on TV are coaching their guys, and we would kind of joke like they'll hire us to teach their guys, but they wouldn't put us back in a ring. Like, what was that all about? It's just all right, okay. Who am I to figure out the decisions of the higher ups? Whatever. I'm a ground soldier. Like I'm a hands-on in the field guy. I'm not an office guy. So whatever office decisions are made, beats me. I don't know. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, definitely seems like the character had a lot of, growth and legs and
I think it was clipped so short, and for whatever reason, who knows? I've heard all sorts of silly reasons, but I have nothing decisive about it. But like, so when I was a kid, if somebody was introduced as a good guy, you cheered them. If they were introduced as a bad guy, you booed them. It was kind of cut and dry. It was like the Super Friends cartoon, like a bunch of good guys out there to do good, and a bunch of villains out there to do bad. That was it. But nowadays, it's so much more shades of gray and so much more complex. Like to watch that old Super Friends cartoon, it's so campy and so simplistic, but you can still watch those same superheroes in the Marvel movies and the DC movies, and the stories are so more, interesting or complex because those same people watching the Super Friends have grown up and from kids to adults, so we're just
it
same
grows with
character.
you.
But yeah, those characters totally that Americana has grown with us.
Hmm.
And so I think when I came out, like when I had that match with MVP, I remember looking at Dr. Tom and Gorilla, and Dr. Tom is just as smart as you could possibly get. And I looked at him and he's just like, and I was like, uh-oh, if the good doctor doesn't know what's going on, then I think I'm up, Shiznit Creek without a paddle. And so Vince wanted me to be a good guy, which is fine. It's his company, his show, his checkbook, no problem. Yes, sir. But I think to force somebody to like or to cheer for you or boo you, whatever, to force a situation, it's contrived and it's hard to digest, like. But if they just let you, like I thought, like I looked like a villain, I moved like a villain, I thought like a villain. Let me be a fun villain, and if you like to hate me within moments, within a couple of weeks, a week even, I could have been a babyface. Like let them enjoy not liking me first, then let them go, oh, he's fun to watch, or he's this, or he's colorful, or he's whatever, he's funny, or he's whatever. I think I kind of like him. It's like Roddy Piper was like the best bad guy in '85, best good guy in '86. He was just so fun to hate that you just really loved him. So
Yeah.
I'm not comparing myself to, I'm too humble to, or, to compare myself to Roddy Piper, but you get the idea of like,
Hmm.
let me go out, let me earn my keep as a bad guy, let me get my booze, and let me get another good guy his sympathy, and let me engage the audience, and sink their teeth into me, and then off we go, and then we'll
Yeah.
just organically flip into a baby face. You know,
Yeah, I mean, look at how Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock were, just this anti-hero,
sure,
and The Rock, turned around, he was Rocky Maivia, this happy, you know, goody two
right,
shoes,
and they weren't buying it. They weren't
n-
buying it at all.
no,
No.
no, and look where they became. Look at what they became. They became
If
legends.
if I had a nickel for every show I've been to, big and small, just all over Hell's Half Acre, I've had so many people go, man, I wish you were doing now, you know, when you were in that Kizarny spot. I wish you were doing that then. I'm like, well, I don't have a time machine, so there you go.